It appears Fabricio Werdum is done with MMA. And you know what? That sucks. That is terrible news. Now, Werdum is only stating what's abundantly obvious. Werdum, I believe, is 44 years old. He's accomplished everything you possibly could accomplish, not to mention he hasn't fought for a period of time. Like, the mere fact that Werdum is done with fight, yeah, we know. But you still feel something different, right? When one of the heroes actually verbalizes it, when you can no longer cling to hope that he might be coming back because now he has made it, it's just one of those things, and that news sucks. I must tell you, Werdum was one guy, and you can't say, well, there's two or three, there's a category. He is the one guy where you do not know what's going to happen when he goes out there. You cannot count him out. He might be going down in a blaze of glory, and he might be going and capturing world championships. The first time, and Werdum had a very good career. He was a tall guy. He had the Nogueira brothers vouching for him. He had a jiu-jitsu black belt. He had come through Abu Dhabi. Like, he had some real amateur accolades. But as far as the heavyweight division of the free format fighting systems goes, he was unproven, not to mention he wasn't that big. If you see Werdum, you don't think that he's a small guy, but he goes the higher part of 230. I don't think he's ever weighed in more than 245 pounds. He's weighed in the same thing that Kane weighed in. They were just good heavyweights. That's as far as it went. He wasn't superimposing. It's one of the reasons that he could move so well on the ground. I've seen guys eat themselves to success, but I've also seen guys eat and bulk themselves to where they're turtles once they get in certain positions, which most particularly is on the ground, and that wasn't what Werdum did. Real heavy in jiu-jitsu and real heavy off of his back. Because he was so heavy and so confident off of his back, it made his striking 3 times better than it actually was. He would come out and throw absolutely everything had bad intentions. And that's not true with every fighter. Fighters will use range, they'll measure you, they'll test to where you at, they'll pepper you. I mean, there's a lot of these words that you hear, but they're true. He'll make a fist and throw it at your direction. He's got absolutely no intent in hurting you. He's not intending to crack an egg, let alone break your nose. He's trying to see where you're at. He's just trying to put his hand out there, see where you're at, offer you a distraction so the next one can go and do some damage. Werdum never did that. He never peppered. He never tested anything because he didn't care if you took him down. You will see a number of great strikers come over into MMA and not be able to display their great striking because of the fear of the takedown, not the takedown. I always got to talk to you guys about this. It's the threat. The threat of the takedown will change a striker. And we generally see that from taking a striker of this level down here. But every now and then you see it in reverse. You'll see what Werdum does, where because he does not care about that takedown, because he's taunting you at all times, come on in, grab my hips, let's go to the ground, let me show you what this Abu Dhabi black belt's all about. It sends his striking the other way. So now all of a sudden, no matter how good of a striker you are, you got your hands full with Werdum, and I should mention he's long. Werdum goes like 6'5", 6'4". So Werdum had one of these killer careers, and he busted onto everybody's radar. Now, I knew who he was because he had fought Junior Dos Santos. In fact, that fight did not even go Verdum's way. Werdum came out wild. I'm bragging about his wildness, but there's another side to the coin. Junior, who was a pretty unknown at that point, was able to land an uppercut. Werdum ends up fighting. Fast forward, he's in there with Fedor. Now, all Werdum is a face on the poster who's going to be the next victim of Fedor. Period. That wasn't even like this hugely sought-after fight. It did really good numbers, but that was because the whole world just wanted to see Fedor. Fedor was like the Michael Jackson of MMA. I apologize, Michael Jordan, in that it didn't matter who the Bulls were playing in the 90s. They could sell out any arena just to see Jordan's greatness, and Fedor had that. So when Fedor fights Werdum, I didn't even watch the fight. I put it on record. I was going to watch it later, but it wasn't one of these meaningful things. My phone was lighting. Oh, my God. Everybody was telling me that Werdum had beat Fedor. I couldn't believe it. When I was 10 years old, my parents went out, and they went out with some friends. When they came home that night, I had already seen the nightly news, and I knew that Mike Tyson was knocked out by Buster Douglas. And so when my parents came home, I told them that. I told Mike Tyson lost. He got knocked out in Tokyo. Didn't know the opponent's name. I just knew that this happened because I'd seen the news. My dad yelled at me. My dad said, "This is why you don't get good grades in school, because you can't pay attention. You can't listen when people are telling." I said, that was how unbelievable it was. My father thought that I had seen news and I was reporting it to him inaccurately. He could not accept what I was telling him was true. And we didn't have cable. We had 3 channels back then, 2, 6, and 8. We had to stay up for the next news just so I could show him, so they would cover sports, so that they would confirm what I said, that Mike Tyson lost. That's what it was like when Werdum beat Fedor. As many people as were telling me this happened, as many times I had to take my phone and keep looking, I didn't believe a single one of them. There was no news report you could show me. There was no .com that you could go to. And back then, you had the Underground, of course, you had Weekly, and you had Sherdog. These were the only 3 places you could go. And I went to all of them, and they all had it wrong. They all said that Fabricio Werdum beat Fedor. As a matter of fact, he finished him. As a matter of fact, he triangled from his back. I didn't believe it. Matt Lindland was at the event. And Matt Lindland told me that the building did not erupt and give Werdum this glorious moment. Matt said that the whole building went quiet because they couldn't believe what it was they saw. Do you guys remember Alexander Karelin? Does that name ring a bell? Alexander Karelin goes down as the greatest Greco wrestler of all time. He certainly goes down as the most respected and the most feared. He was a heavyweight Soviet. This was before the breakup and they just became Russia. He was representing the USSR. 88 Olympic champion, 92 Olympic champion, 96 Olympic champion, won every world championship in between. And he lost in 2000 in his final match. He announced it before he went out there. He said, I'm retiring after this match. He lost to an American named Rulon Gardner. I bring you that because Rulon did not get the reception that you would think. The building went quiet when Rulon beat Karelin. They could not believe what they just saw. And this wasn't even Werdum's crowning moment. This was just Werdum's first moment. He then goes into the UFC and he has to take on another terrifying guy named Cain Velasquez. And he's got to go to Mexico to do it. Now, Werdum is in the exact same spot. It's just he has absolutely no chance. There is no fool amongst us who would pick Fabricio Werdum. That simply is not going to happen. Not on their feet, not on their ground, not if this goes to decision. I mean, people were calling Cain Cardio Cain back then. Cain's going to put those scary eyes on you. He's never going to stop. He's the Terminator. I mean, all of these different things, but they were true. And that may be the match, the only match that you have to see for me to improve my entire premise to you. That Fabricio Werdum, every moment he was in the octagon, was daring you to take him down. He was daring you. Fabricio Werdum used to throw flying knees as a heavyweight, and everybody thought, oh, he's so athletic, he's so amazing. He was daring his opponent. Here's one of my legs. I'll give you one leg. Just grab it and I'll fall down. Nobody wanted to go to the ground with him. And people made that mistake many times. And Werdum's training with Cain, and Cain finally comes in, wraps that guillotine on him, and Werdum goes on to be the UFC world champion. I mean, it's one of these incredible stories. And I do feel like some of the best guys go through the cracks. I realize that you all know who Werdum is. I realize that you all appreciate Werdum, but maybe not enough. Maybe you don't truly appreciate him enough. Maybe you don't appreciate that the night he beat Fedor was the biggest upset in heavyweight history until the night that he beat Cain. Records are only made to be broken. Werdum set a record and the sumbitch came along and broke his own record. That's how good Fabricio Werdum is.